case, I can do it from my end.
Okay. All right, it's recording, but also you or Mark can actually save it on your end once we're done, and then I can edit it and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
All right.
I'm gonna ask like one really random question that I bet you won't be expecting. Ha 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 ha.
Okay, well, you can start off with that after the introduction because I want to hear it.
It's not gonna be it's not gonna be super random, but it's something that none of you will ask whatsoever.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that.
Okay.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Global Nerdz Podcast. I am your host, Darrell, joined by the other nerds of the podcast. We got Deshaun, we got Chris, we got Mark, and we got Todd. And we got a special guest here today, Miss Catherine Sutherland. How are you, Miss Lita?
Hi. Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, no, it's a pleasure having you here. You know, we got an elephant in the room we have to talk about. But first of all, how are you doing before we get there?
I'm good. I'm doing really good. 2023 is off to a good start.
It is. All right. So we're gonna go right into it because I have like 7 questions lined up. But go ahead, Mark. I know you got a big one. We're gonna see how aloof this question is and how out there it is.
Okay. So another big show had its 30th. Neighbours. And my question is, what was it like being on Neighbours around about X amount of times? What was it like?
Yeah, you were right. I was not thinking about that at all.
Neighbours. Don't believe everything on the internet. I actually didn't do Neighbours.
Really?
I was never on
what?
Neighbours. I have many friends, including Natalie Imbruglia, who was on Neighbours. And
yes.
Neighbours, for you guys, you Americans, is kind of like our Days of Our Lives, I guess.
Yep.
It's a soap opera that's been on for years. It's very popular in England as well, and just a real part of Australian culture. But I never actually did Neighbours.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn you, IMDb.
There's so many things out there that are just not true. I always chuckle. I'm like, well, whatever. If someone asks me about it, I'll be able to set it straight. I don't have the time to go on and change absolutely everything that people say. So I just there's something on there. Some film I did where I was a nurse. I said, nope, that wasn't me.
Really? Was that the Cell by any chance?
No, I
She
did
was
do
in
the
the
Cell.
Cell.
I was
Okay.
in the Cell. Yes.
Okay, so what was it like doing the Cell then? Because I've never
Cell,
seen it,
yes.
but
Oh, it's a very dark movie.
It is.
It's kind of turned into a bit of a cult following now, but that was the first time Tarsem, the director, had done a feature film. He was very known in the film video. What am I trying to say? The music video industry. I couldn't get that out. And he did a lot of very, very well-known commercials. If you guys know the band REM, he did Losing My Religion, the music video for that. And he's just like a visual, just incredible visionary. And so I was really honored to get to work with him. And got to work with J-Lo and Vincent D'Onofrio, who's a genius, and Vince Vaughn. So I was in with these very esteemed actors, and it was my first union feature film. So it was a big shift from Power Rangers and non-union work. But it was such an incredible experience. They treated me like gold, and I think I filmed for over a period of 3 months, and it was very strenuous and emotionally draining, and they had to cut a lot of the movie out because when they tested it with audiences, it was a little more too disturbing, if you can believe that. The director really kind of was going for a lot of like reality kind of visuals, and it didn't test well. I think probably because of the genre, because it was a fantasy thriller. People didn't want it to be that real. So, but it was an incredible experience. I'm very grateful that I got to be a part of it. So.
No, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans on doing any more blockbuster films?
No, I actually in right after I got married, so 2003, I took a break maybe around 2004 from the industry. I just walked away because I just felt like it wasn't good for my heart anymore. I was just feeling very discouraged. I hated auditioning. I hated that, you walk in a room and there's 2,000 girls that look just like you. And it felt very narcissistic to me. And I just felt like it was kind of chipping away at who I was. And so I thought I just need to step away for a little bit. So I took a break. I had babies. I actually was a personal trainer for a little while. And then I kind of got lured back in and started doing commercials and little modeling and a little voiceover work here and there and doing projects for friends and things that I didn't have to audition for. And then in 2009, the con world came into my life. I had no idea that it even existed. And that kind of pulled me back even further into the industry again. So it's kind of a nice place. I get to be in it at my own discretion. But to be honest, like I'm not crazy about where the industry is going at the moment. So I'm not sure where my place is in it all. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of taken a bit of a turn. Some of the stuff, the content that's being put out there. So yeah, I always keep myself open to wherever God's gonna guide me. So we'll see what happens. I love acting. I love everything about it. I love the creative process of it. I just don't like the
business side.
The business side of it. Yeah. I don't like the networking and the schmoozing and it's not a very authentic industry.
Hollywood for a reason.
Well, first of all, good for you for being able to like just take a step back from that and keep living a happy life. It's a little hard it can be hard to mix that with career sometimes, but clearly you've done it successfully. So great on you.
Thank you.
When you say you don't really like the direction the industry is going, that kind of makes me wonder, do you feel like in the future, the artistic side of that industry is going to continue to hold a lot of power, or do you think that's going to kind of start to slide off in favor of the business side that you don't like so much?
That's an interesting question. Well, I think I really love that we've opened up doors for independent filmmakers. When I was in the industry, that wasn't available. So I love that we have, streaming, and we have YouTube, and we have all these other avenues where people can, they're not dependent on executives and studios to back them anymore. We have GoFundMe's, and I love that there's so many people now that we would never have known about if it was dependent on agents and executives and all of that stuff. So I feel like it will take a turn. I just think it's just feels very stagnant to me. Like the content just seems to be the same thing over and over and over. And I saw 2 movies in the past week, and I never get to the movies, but I saw The Whale and I saw The Menu. So there's 2 movies, and I was so excited by both of them because it was the first time in a long time I've actually felt moved and like, wow, this was so exciting and different, and it wasn't the same old thing. And I got to think and have emotions and go on this ride, which is why we watch film, It just feels like a lot of the content just feels like I'm being either brainwashed or told how to think, or it's just the same formula. It feels a bit toxic, some of it. I just feel like there needs to be a shift. So we'll see. I'm hopeful, put it that way. So I hope that answered your question. Kind of went on a tangent there.
No, I'm glad you're so transparent and actually give us the insight, actually giving us your voice and your opinion, how you think about it. Because it is true, the climate of entertainment has shifted to the left, sometimes for the negative, but that's pretty much what put butts in the seats and what's pretty much making the money.
Yeah.
So until we stop supporting it, we're going to get the same run-of-the-mill negative stuff.
So true.
True. I mean, at least movies like The Menu still proved that we're not even close to being out of originality. So
yeah.
Or
Yeah, that was a
even
brilliant
the whale
film.
bringing back
Mhm.
old
Brendan
actors.
Fraser.
Yes, isn't he amazing? What an
Yeah.
amazing actor! Like from George of the Jungle to the whale. Wow.
Right.
Oh, the
Yeah.
memories of my childhood.
Yeah.
Yes. Who could forget George of the Jungle?
So, 130th question, production. How did
Yes.
it feel to work with David and Walter for the first time?
Well, it wasn't my first time working with
Oh,
David, because David and I were on Mighty Morphin and Zio together.
Right.
And it was just like old times with him. It was really cool to work with Walter for the first time. And he's I don't know if you guys have ever met Walter, but he's just very, what you get is what you see with Walter.
Yeah,
He's
man.
just a very optimistic, fun, supportive,
Yeah.
super talented, like triple threat talented.
Mm.
And it was really cool to see that he, at mid 50s, almost 60 years old, he can still move his body like that. It was like, I was like, oh my gosh, how can you still do that? I was in agony. I'm like, oh my gosh, they were doing forward rolls with us, and I was like, oh my gosh, my neck, like I need ice. But he was still able to do like some crazy stuff. But he's just a joy to work with. He's wonderful, and I loved. You guys are gonna love his character, seeing what Zach became, and his relationship with Trini's daughter is really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
That's love.
So yeah, I mean, it's, you guys have such nostalgia for the original cast, and so it's an honor to get to work with them and be a part of it. So I was just happy to be a part of it, and that they asked me.
Yeah, I love it. It's like a full circle moment. It started with you guys,
Yeah.
and now kind of get to come to the end with you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So one kind of question that I would quite know without giving any spoilers or anything. Do you think it's going to be a darker tone than, say, what it was like back in the 90s, or is it kind of keeping around, made for fans like us, because obviously we grew up with it, or is it kind of still aimed towards like the 7 to 8 year olds type thing?
No, it's definitely aimed at you guys.
Yes.
It's a definite. It's definitely darker than the original series. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you saw the picture that David released last week or the beginning of this week, and some of the stills they've released shows blood on Billy's lip. So there is blood, which is not Power Rangers. Like there was never blood or bruises or anything on the show when we were on it. So that's a new development. And it's got, like, I love that they put so much thought into it, because they've covered so much of the questions that you guys had of like why things unfolded the way they did, and the power coins, and how the power is transferred, and all of those, dimension questions, and the things that the comics have brought up. I feel like they considered everything. They kind of took the fandom as a whole and created this really neat movie. And it's I just feel like it's the best way they could have honored the show, other than Nakia being in it. Nakia should have been in it, but I have issues. I know she's going to be like, surprise, photobomb. I know. I heard I are inseparable, so I'm like, she should be here. It doesn't feel right.
Well, that leads me to a piggyback question now, because we know that this is like the conclusion of the Power Rangers as we know it. Do you think that this can catapult into a new series where everything getting a reunion, Fuller House and all these type of shows coming back? Do you think you guys could possibly ever come back if it's received very well from the general public and as well as the Power Ranger fans?
Well, I actually wonder if that's what this is, if this is a test to see how it does. I think that just the teaser alone created a huge amount of
Yes.
viral attention,
Mhm.
and Hasbro was very excited about that. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I know David's written a series,
Yes.
and I think that there is room for that. I always thought it would be cool to have the Rangers come back as mentors, the older ones.
Yeah.
You know, Billy could be like a Zordon character. I thought that would be cool. And you know, Rangers kids becoming Rangers.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that this is a testing of the waters, perhaps.
Mm.
So stay tuned. I mean, Cobra Kai, Fuller House, like all of those shows are
Yes.
like it's crazy.
Mm.
I
So
just
we have
wanted
to
to,
show up and support. We have to support because there's a lot of
Yeah.
people that are not
Yeah.
fans that are very interested in seeing this. A lot
Yeah.
of insiders and business folks, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, it's getting eyes. I didn't know that, but I'm
I
like,
know,
behind the
I'm
scenes, it's getting eyes.
Yeah.
just give me a
Honestly-
Zeo
surprised.
reunion. That's all I want. Just bring back
I
Zeo. That's
know.
it.
Yeah. Honestly,
No.
honestly, Catherine, the way you talk about this like really makes me relieved. Like, cause I don't know, this 30th anniversary has a lot of like finale energy to it, and we never want anything to end. It's always we all cry at that, but like you give us a new hope vibe with like how you
Aw.
describe this. So I'm excited. I'm excited now.
Yeah, you should be excited. I think it's going to be very satisfying for you guys because I know a lot of the previous reunion episodes have been really lovely and wonderful, but they've been part of a series, so they've been
Yeah.
part of the show that's already going. So that's kind of like the flavoring. They're the seasoning to the series, like so. It hasn't been fulfilling as much for you guys that grew up with the show because you didn't get to kind of see those characters come back to life. It was just like a face here and there. So this is nice that you get to actually see what happened to these heroes that you loved growing up. Yeah.
I got a question. It's not pertaining to the 30th anniversary or nothing like that. What is like being on Ninja Steel? Was that
Oh, Ninja Steel. Yeah. That was my first time going back and in person. I'd done voiceover for Forever Red, but I hadn't gone back in person. So it was really cool to be on set with all these kids and watching them because they were all the age that I was when I came on the show. It was just like remembering that feeling of excitement and playfulness and the right before it's going to take off and you don't know what it's all this anticipation. You don't know what it's going to do for your career and it was really fun to watch them like at the beginning of their careers and it was very nostalgic. And I got to work with Yuji and Kazu and all these stunt guys that I'd worked with that were on the show with me. They're still a part of the series, which is crazy. I would love to have seen them do a little bit more with that episode, but it was a really fun experience.
Yeah, it really was interesting. I was like you said, went further with it because it was like kind of like watching the movie in a way. But
Yeah.
it's just like we could have went further with it. I don't think I just
Yeah.
wish it was like an hour episode instead of 30 minutes with it. It could have made it to an hour.
Yeah. I think they probably should have made it a 2-part episode.
Yeah.
And stretched it out a little bit more because it finished a little abruptly for me. But I loved the Master Morpher and Tommy. He didn't do his Zeo form though. He did all of
Neither
those
did he
other
do
forms and not
Turbo.
Zeo.
He's the original.
Oh, he
But
didn't
you
do
don't
Turbo
know.
either.
No.
He did Zeo because in the
Oh, he
in
did
the
do Zeo.
fight, yeah, he
Yeah.
Oh,
turns
okay.
into it because he counts down, but he never did Turbo. And
Yeah,
that's one
Turbo
thing that
gets no love.
yeah, like no one figures out like
was
where is it?
Turbo.
But I was Turbo. I should have been Zeo, but I was Turbo. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I think
When-
it had something to do with the Sentai footage, to be honest with you.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Did they give you an option like when they brought you back? They're like, right, here's all your Ranger forms. Choose one,
Yeah.
or was that like, you're Turbo,
No.
and that's it?
Yeah. They said
Oh.
you're Turbo. And in fact, I was really mad because the picture they put out, I got so much gas about that. The key's not even going in the right hole or whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just did what they told me to do. I looked at that morpher and I went, that is not the turbo. The key was like this long, oh, you can't see me. The key was like 10 inches long. So it was not really authentic to what my turbo morpher was, but
Yeah.
I was just doing what the director told me to do.
So here's a question, because in that episode they turn around and go like, oh, Tommy could easily go around, and like the reason why people trust him is because he's a veteran ranger. How do you think your character got kind of tricked into actually being like, oh, there's a machine that takes my powers and makes them evil? Cool. So how do you think Tommy would have like tricked you to do it then?
Oh, well, I was supposed to be. That was another thing in that episode, that they alluded to us being together and that JJ was our kid, but then he didn't really rescue me first or treat me any differently to the other Rangers. So
Right.
I don't know. I think I don't know how he would have tricked me. I guess if he
Oh,
was my
no.
husband, he could have tricked me.
Tommy treated you like the
Pretty
baby
much.
mama.
You're like, oh,
Or,
just come over
or
here
it
and have a
could-
look at this.
It could have been the
Capture
king
it.
of JJ.
I mean, it would be nice if going JJ alive though into the character.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Say that again. What was that?
I said it would be nice if they did bring JJ alive into the character.
Yeah.
He'll be on a future Power Ranger season or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they totally just did that. If you're gonna pick
Yeah.
up Tommy, might as well bring him out. You would think.
What do you guys think about Jenna being a ranger, like coming to the series, if that ever was an option?
Ooh.
See,
I'm open to it if she's playing like an original character.
Uh-huh.
There's been words about her wanting to play, like people want her to be the new Tommy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, kind of being like a send off or a hat tip to her father's character. If she comes through
Yeah.
as a different character, because I know she's in Lord of the White Dragon.
Legend of the White Dragon, yeah.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
interested.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see her performance in that.
Yeah.
Question: are you in the White Dragon?
No, I am not.
Okay.
I was originally going to be. I was going to be the wife and Jenna's mother, and for unforeseen circumstances that did not happen. So Serena Vincent, who was Maya, the Lost Galaxy Yellow Ranger. She
Yeah.
is actually playing that role, and she's amazing. So yes.
Oh, you did play Shallow Pass though.
What's that?
The Colin Branch jump on the episode when you gave him the Zeo jump.
The
Oh
Z-
yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
universe. Yeah.
Yes.
I can't forget about that one.
There we
Yeah.
go.
You did your role really good on that one.
I have a quick
that
question
was-
from the cat that we saw, because he did piggybacking off a Ninja Steel. Is that the same cat that we're going to see in the 30th, or is that a different iteration of cat?
Oh yeah, because they were talking about the dimensions, weren't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
I believe it's probably the same
Okay.
version.
Okay.
Yeah, probably the same. And it's set in current times, so
Oh, we
Yeah.
got it.
Interesting. Okay.
yeah.
Now that's opened up a whole bag of worms that I want to ask, but I know we can't get into it because we're recording right now.
No,
So I'm
bad
gonna
delay.
ask some questions because now my brain is like, okay, JJ and everything. But back to the
Yes.
30th. Since
Yes.
you're back, and we have the first cast and the second cast of MMPR meeting up for the first time. How
Mhm.
was your interaction working with the different, I guess, what is it, stunt team for both different casts, or did you guys have the same cast for the stunt department?
The stunt team is the same.
Okay.
This was my first time having a female stunt double. I've always had Japanese stunt doubles because Amy Jo and Karen are little. They're much littler than me physically.
Mhm.
Karen has enough personality for 20 people, but she's tiny in stature.
Oh, I can't wait. I love Karen. I'm sorry.
She is a ball of sunshine. So that I couldn't obviously use Amy Jo's stunt double. So my stunt double was Tozu, I think his name was. He was tall, and so they never had females for me.
Oh.
Sophia, who was Amy Jo's stunt double, was amazing, but she was too short to be me. And so coming back this time, the girl they used, her name was Momoko. She was incredible. And I was so excited to have a female. Like, she actually had feminine movements. She didn't have to fake it. You know, it was so funny watching the Japanese guys try and be feminine. So yeah, so that was fun. Yes. But you guys bought it as kids.
Yeah.
You thought
Oh, yeah.
that
Oh,
was
yeah.
fun.
Definitely.
Like, they're completely in Los Angeles. Like, I know that night. No, I don't see Los Angeles at all.
It definitely had a Tokyo feel, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
What is like?
Oh.
So
What is like to be for a cat into a person for a season?
What was it like to be a cat to a
You
person?
was a cat at first, and then you turn into like animals. It's kind of like an animal. You ever watch Animals?
Yeah.
Animals.
and
Man.
Like you take a cat, use a white
The
cat,
morphing. Yes.
a human. That's like an animal scene right there. Little power.
Yeah, they were all proud of that morphing. You know, they had to do like CGI and everything. They were all proud of that morph when I turned from the cat to the girl. It was funny.
That was, I saw.
Here's
So-
a question. I've got one point. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Do we see TJ at any point or referenced in the 30th? I know it's like
TJ. You
the cat.
mean
Because
the PC.
Oh, is it PC?
Park
Sorry,
Cat,
I got.
PC.
Oh, was it Park
TJ
Cat?
was Selwyn Ward's character. in
Yeah, I don't know
Turbo.
why it
Whoa.
was TJ.
That's
I
all
thought
I'm saying. Like, TJ, like, are we getting into spoiler territory right now, or what?
TJ the cat's right in it. But does PC?
No, PC does not make an appearance in the 30th anniversary. Darn it.
Why? I
Yeah.
don't want to watch it now.
But my red eyes might. No, I'm kidding.
Ah,
Oh my.
I would love to see Evo Cat come back. I mean, you start off
I
as an
do
evil
too.
character. I mean, corrupt somebody.
I know. I would love to have come back, like we had a resurgence of the evil. Did they do that for Tommy? They did, didn't they? He came back as evil briefly. The
Yeah,
spell
like an
came
evil robot. And
robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the ninja steel. But did he ever come? Like, did he? Once they broke the spell, did he ever? Did
There's-
Rita ever like get him
No.
under her? No. Okay.
no,
No.
I think the only
No.
time, only other time
Only-
that I remember is Zeo, where the Machine Empire like, kind of capture him, and it's
Yes.
just like we're going to
Yeah.
brainwash him into being an evil person again.
Yes. King for a day. That was a good
Yeah.
episode.
Or if you count him as
Yeah.
Lord
Hard,
Draken,
man.
he technically was evil.
No,
You
it's
count
a
him
Lord
different
as-
dimension.
Draken.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, and
technically-
we did Shadow Rangers in Turbo too. We were
Yeah.
evil
Cool.
Rangers in that
Yeah.
one too.
Yeah.
But he didn't get like it wasn't like the Green Ranger though, where
Yeah.
Love to see Lord
Yeah.
Dracula on the 30th anniversary. That'd be nice too.
That would have been a nice little nudge, like, you know, Lord Draken is here.
yeah, to have
Yeah.
him come back. Yeah.
fuck
Yeah,
everyone
Lord
off.
didn't Lord Zed came back in Dino Fury, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah,
he's
I
still
think he
out
did,
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he look the same?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just a different,
Yeah.
like, updated design to his suit
Yeah.
and a different voice actor, of course, because you know,
Yeah.
Robert passed. So
Yeah,
Yes.
he still looked as great as
Fuck
ever,
you.
though.
Such a great villain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he escaped. And I guess that cost me.
Oh, okay.
But he escaped.
yeah, why are we here? Because you just said villain. I don't want to get to any spoilers, but we know about Robo Rita, so we can talk about that publicly there.
Okay. Yeah,
Which-
that is she's pretty creepy. She's pretty
Ah, nice.
creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the Rita. Barbara Goodson's doing the voice. I am so grateful that they are using her.
Sweet.
No one else can do Rita's voice like that. But she is even more evil, if you can believe that. She's
bad.
not campy like our Rita was.
Oh, okay.
Tracks.
Yeah. I mean,
She's-
Well,
did you ever read? I forget which comic it was. It was the Boom Comics. That's right, the Boom Studio Comics. That version of Rita went hard. Did you ever read those comics at
Wow.
all?
No, I haven't. There's so many of
Oh,
them.
yeah.
I know I read a couple of the Shattered Grid ones, and I read the one that Jason co-wrote
Yeah,
with what was that called? Soul of the Dragon, I think
Yeah.
it was called.
that's the one.
Um, yeah, I read that one, but no, it's she's pretty scary.
She's basically like this master manipulator, bringing about the apocalypse just by talking to the right people. Essentially,
Wow.
it's
Wow.
she's like they go on like full. She's like Armageddon level dangerous, and I can't. There's no words that I can describe just how much of a badass
Oh.
she is in
So
that
she-
story.
Female
Wow.
Donald Trump.
Right.
Like,
There we
don't
go.
bring the politics into it.
Our one political reference to the show, guys.
Please, God.
You want-
We're
want-
almost
we're not gonna
escape
go there.
free.
if you want more Patreons in the description.
I wonder.
There's our one Patreon show for the episode.
Right.
So
Uh,
we've seen.
yes.
So we've seen Billy in his suit, Zach in his suit. Please tell me the others get into their suits for at least one scene.
I can't reveal that
Yes.
because it hasn't been put out there yet.
Yeah.
Yes. But
Well,
if you read it
I
between the
tried.
lines, they are morphing. You know what I mean? Kind of connected two puzzles there.
Yeah.
But
Yes, the morphing. Yes. Did they show what Rita looks like yet? Have they revealed
yet.
that yet?
Not
no,
yet.
we have
Yeah.
not seen that yet. No.
Just
I do.
Her whole team of villains is really creepy.
Nice.
It's cool. It's cool, and the Moon Palace and all that. It's very cool.
I like it when Power Rangers get scary.
Yeah.
It's not so scary that it's like, like that one that was released that was just really, really dark. It's not to that degree, but it's definitely a step up from what the show was.
Mm.
Yeah.
I have a
Awesome.
two-parter question for you.
Yes.
The first part is, how long is this film/episode going to be? And number two, do we get to see you guys kick butt outside of the suits? Because I want to see you kick some butt.
I actually don't know how long it is, to be honest with you. It's longer than an episode. I believe it's like a mini movie.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure exactly how long. And then the kicking butt, you do see there's a lot of butt kicking that goes on in it. Yes.
Great.
Something
I'm
straight to the
excited.
point.
Yeah.
Those points.
So here's one shifting into gears. It's a turbo thing.
Wah, 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 wah.
There, so exactly. I want that effect put in. Turbo, the movie, had so many cutscenes like kind of taken out. Would you have liked to have seen those put into into it or thing? Or would it like did you like any of the deleted scenes and stuff that you wish that got made into the series? Into the film, sorry.
Yes, I think that it was unfortunate because a lot of the scenes that got deleted gave a lot more character insight, and there were some really tender moments of seeing the Rangers connect as friends. There was some really bomb fight scenes on the boat that they cut that I got to do a scorpion kick behind my head, and it was so epic cool. But yeah, it would be really cool if they. I know. Well, what happened was the real story is that we had a director, David Winning was the original director, and about halfway through, he was let go, and Shu Levy took over, and so I think a lot of the stuff that David filmed did not make the final cut. It would have been the movie would have been too long anyway. It would have been 4 hours long because there was so much footage. But I think it was a shame because there was a lot of things in the story like that would have made more sense, like why my Zeo morph, stopped when I hit the water, and there was a mermaid in it, and there was the scene with me and Jason on the back cover of the DVD with the flamethrower. That was supposed to be a giant alligator that came out. And there was like a whole scene with that. There was a lot of really cool stuff. So who knows? Maybe they will release it.
Director's cut. I mean, come on.
Please,
Yeah.
please do that. Like just the sound of it, like please explain, movie. Explain this stuff.
Yes, because for one, there's a joke going on that Mark always talking about you being allergic to water with the
Me?
zero power.
I never said that.
Oh,
Mark.
you're allergic
No.
to water. I'm like, come on.
I came up with a theory of the reason why the powers stop working, or the reason why the morph doesn't complete, is you hit the water, so therefore it disrupts the completion, it finishes. So that's the only thing I could like go, oh, that kind of makes sense. But
Yeah.
But the one thing I never understood, because over here, like when it got released on VHS and stuff like that, on the back of the box, there's a thing with you and Jason David Frank and yourself with the flamethrower. And I'm like,
Yeah.
where is that? And
Where
now
is
I know
that
it's
scene?
alligator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after we go through the rapids and everything, and he helps me out, and I go, my leg, and he's like that part, right when I'm sitting on the edge of the water, there was supposed to be like this giant dinosaur-sized crocodile that comes out of the water and tries to eat me. And then Tommy and the alligator get in a fight. And then I get the flamethrower from that backpack that was like 5 inches big. and I shoot the thing. And then, yeah, it was
Now
a
I'm
very,
lost.
very exciting scene.
It wasn't the
Remember
snake
the
at all.
backpacks? You know,
But
it was
didn't
when
they replace the alligator with a snake because there was
Yeah.
a snake in there
no,
now?
the snake, that snake was in the beginning of the scene, but there was an
Dude.
alligator as well. We were just
Oh.
under attack,
What?
Darrell, under attack.
This is never ending. Okay.
Oh, yeah, so yeah, so there you go. Your questions have been answered.
Goddamn VHS
question.
tricking
I have a
me.
question. Because in Turbo, you guys had sentient cars. The little red one and the blue one. Is there a planet of cars out there somewhere in the cosmos? Because where did these two
Yeah.
little cars come from?
Zordon. That Zordon creates things. He manifests like an alchemist.
Okay.
They were
That's
in the bottom of the command center,
The whole time just waiting.
waiting for us to use them. Yes.
I thought he got no cars, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, the Master Genius. To do that.
Seriously. I'm going to have to get back to number 3, to the 30th season right now with this question. Cars. It's more realistic with this episode / movie type of thing. Are we going to see vehicles in, like you guys actually driving? Are we going to see you guys actually eat a meal once? Because there's a lot of Power Rangers people like, okay, they never eat. They never go take a bathroom break. Like, are they robots? Like, I didn't know.
That's funny. I'm trying to think. Do we eat? There is one scene, I think, towards the end with food involved and driving. There is, the rad bug is in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the rad bug is the only car that I can think of that's in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But that was cool, right? To see the rad bug come back.
It was.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
great.
But that's why I posed the questions, because I was trying to have you segue to see, like, okay, is this going to be like a conclusion to like the ending scene from the first movie when they was eating lunch and the fireworks went off for the Power Rangers and the music went on with Journey? Yeah, so we're gonna have a moment like that.
No, it's not like the first movie. No.
Okay.
It's a very sweet ending though. You'll be happy with the ending.
Oh, that's cool.
See, I now imagine it's just like The Sopranos, like just the way it ends. It's like, thanks guys for saving the world. Cut to black, and that's it. It's just like.
Well, I'm trying to think if there is any ambiguity in the ending. I think there is some like maybe we'll see what happens at the end.
Yeah.
But it's still, I feel like it also has like a nice wrap up.
Okay.
Too. But there's a lot of things that could spin off from where it ends. There's a lot of like different pieces to it, I guess.
So
I'm being a bit ambiguous, but
I know, but that's the hope. We're hoping it spins off to a new universe of the Rangers, or we get another 8-episode season or something to hold us over.
So I have a question for this one. So you said earlier that you wouldn't get back into acting and stuff. If they came up to you and was like, would you rather do an entire season of like, say, 10 to 20 episodes as a mentor, being back in action, or they said you can do a movie the same length size of
Yes. I answer for her, yes.
Once a Ranger. Which one would you choose?
Oh, well, both would be amazing. Um, well, as fans, what would you want?
Whole season.
I A
Yeah.
whole season.
Oh, yeah.
I just
Whole season.
I think that my for reason behind doing this is really because I want to do it for you guys. Um, I have a busy life and a full life, and I love
Yeah.
my life. But I get so much joy from the community, and I want you guys to be fulfilled. So I was really happy when I read the script for this special because I felt like, oh, they really listened this time. And I had asked one of the executives, I was like, what, do you guys go and talk to the fans? Because I'm going to share with you what they're telling me and who they want to see and what they're asking for. And she said, well, there's a group of the super fans, which are the ones that know the inside details, and they're like really invested in the story and the characters and the seasons, and they've been watching from the beginning and all the way through, and they're devoted. But then you also have the fans who are the ones that watched, know about Power Rangers and watched it a little bit as a kid and then kind of fell off. But they have this nostalgia of, oh yeah, I remember that show when I was a kid. And so they have to cover as a franchise, they have to appeal to the older fans and the newer ones. So, that's why you see like all these collectible things coming out, which are aimed at you guys who are you know the super fans that love the show and want the toys and that. And then you've got the kids that are watching the show that want the toys they can play with, and so they're trying to cover a very wide net of people. And I feel like with this episode, it was aimed at you guys. It was aimed at the
Okay.
ones that really are invested in the show, with hopes of also bringing in those people that remember Power Rangers and are like, oh my gosh, I remember this show. I wonder what happened, and reel them back in. You know, so it was interesting talking to her because I'm always going like, why did they choose to bring that person back, or why did they choose to use that suit, or why and so that kind of answered some of my questions about that. So I just thought I'd share that because I get a lot of fans are like, I'm so tired of them, they bring Tommy back all the time. Why aren't they bringing back, Adam? Or why aren't they bringing back,
Yeah.
their favorite character? They don't understand the bigger picture, I guess, of it all.
Well, that brings hope to know that this particular special is made with care and so much detail to what people want. And love and
Yeah.
care instead of just producing it just to produce toys. You know what I mean? This is more story driven.
Yes, exactly. That's what I feel they're getting from that. And I think that the show has very much through the years been a kind of a commercial for the toys, and I feel like Hasbro's trying to take a little bit of a different turn. The fact that they brought back Dino Fury cast for Cosmic Fury, it's
Mhm.
kind of like going back to the original formula, because
Yeah.
those kids were
Mm.
great and they were really wonderful to work with. And now they're kind of trying to see, okay, let's see if we can get fans to connect with these kids even more. So I was happy to see them do that. I think they realize like Mighty Morphin is the most popular season because of the characters.
It was a lot of development
Yeah.
there that a lot of these
Yeah.
past seasons don't get.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
like going on that one, it's like you have like the cast from My Morphin moving in, and obviously when you came into the series, you stayed all the way till a few episodes into Turbo. So obviously we
Mhm.
saw you grow up, we saw you graduate the high school that we never thought most of them would ever graduate. And I still think Bulk and Skull are still in detention most of the time, so they have to go back there every Saturday.
Yep.
But it was nice to see like a progression. I think that's the reason why people love Mighty Morphing up to Turbo, because
Yeah.
you don't see that with everything. Like it then becomes like a yearly thing where you have to tell that entire story within a year. So I agree. I think that's an interesting thing that we've grown up with you. So obviously when you come back and stuff like, yes, finally.
Yes, exactly. It's been nostalgic. What did you guys I know a lot of people have said In Space is a very popular season and
Mhm.
that it kind of saved the franchise. I've heard a lot of people
So
say that.
good.
What do you think it is about In Space that was so appealing?
I feel like it's because the appeal comes from them just sort of breaking the boundaries. Like for a long time, it was them on Earth living double
Mm.
lives, going to high school, fighting villains on Earth, and now we're making this Star Wars. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like every franchise that wanted to remain fun or get even more fun took it to space at some point. Even
Mhm.
Mario did it at one point,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
yeah,
That's
it's just
how I
that
feel
in
about
s- in space, there's like no limits to what you can do there, and I feel like
Yeah.
it's the premise is so exciting. What you guys did with it was exciting. It was great.
Yeah.
It was very
Yeah.
Star Trek. The spaceship, the suits, to the
Yeah.
commander, to the. It was just like Star Trek episodes. I loved it.
That's
Mhm.
really
and you get
cool. That's really cool.
get to fly anytime you want to.
Right, and then they had like space scooters that they little surfboards. Like it was
Oh,
just
that's
something.
fun.
Power Rangers was so different. Yeah,
Mhm.
That's really cool. So it just had a completely different feel to it.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
it was
And
definitely a different tone.
and definitely that whole crossover with TMNT and
Oh,
Chris
yeah.
hamming it up the entire episode.
He is a ham. I love Chris. And I thought that Patricia was a really great Pink Ranger.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But before we wrap it up here, I have one last question for you, Miss Catherine
no.
I
Sutherland.
I actually have another
I've got a
question
question as
too,
well.
after
You
you.
got
Oh, okay.
you,
Okay.
yeah.
I will say mine.
All of
Go ahead.
us.
I will say
That's
mine
okay.
for last.
We
You
have
guys
like
can all
20 last questions before
Yeah.
we wrap it up here.
It's all good. It's all good.
Okay, I'm gonna go first because mine's pertaining to your last post that you posted on Instagram about you posting called "Captured in Motion," and it's
Mhm.
a very dramatic sort of painstaking expression that you have on your face. Can you talk
Mhm.
about that moment there that you captured, or no? Because it's
Um,
interesting to me.
yes,
I haven't seen that
it
in Power Rangers.
it is a very intense fight scene
Okay.
in the Moon Palace.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's gritty. Yeah.
Okay. That's all I need.
That is a real that scene is a real pivotal moment in the story. And there's a lot of like emotion in that particular moment.
Mm.
I had to ask that because I'm just
Yeah.
looking at it
Uh,
and the emotion that you put in there. You went
yeah.
with for it, so I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You want to go first, Mark?
No, I will save mine to last. It's not a really big one, but you go, Chris. You go.
All right. So you, Catherine, have had quite the acting career. I mean, you got to work with a lot of other illustrious actors in The Cell, as in Power Rangers. You've been a central character in an IP that has been a part of more than one generation's
Mm-hmm.
childhoods, adulthoods. So this is going to be kind of a hard question, but throughout your entire acting career, what would you say? What would you say are some of your biggest, best accomplishments?
Oh, wow. Um, it's funny when I was on the show on Power Rangers, I didn't I mean, I was coming from Australia. It was like this amazing opportunity, but I didn't realize I would be still talking about it 30 years later. I just saw it as a job. It was a job and it ended, and then you move on to the next one. And to just be a part of something that's made such an impact and been such a huge part of pop culture and continues to be after 30 years is my I think my greatest accomplishment. I think not my greatest acting job, like as
Hmm.
far as acting goes. I had a lot of other things that I did that I would say challenged me more as an actor. But
Mm-hmm.
in my career, it's really funny because it's this little cheesy kids show, but I feel so honored to be a part of the franchise and that it really holds up to other, like, people really want it to be in the same genre as Marvel and DC and
Oh
all
yeah.
these other superhero. They want to develop it like that. So I just feel very grateful to have been part of its evolution and to have carried on from Amy Jo.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I would say Power Rangers actually.
Thank
um, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving us Cat.
Oh, thank the
Oh,
writers. They were
definitely.
the ones. Yeah,
Before Marco, we have to give you your flowers because there's not a lot of
Yeah.
actors in the Power Ranger space that even so appreciative to this franchise and just show the love back to the fans. We want to say thank you for your work,
Oh yeah.
your love that you put into it. Each fan that you meet is important to you, that you're focused on that one person that you speak to. So we just want to appreciate you for that. Give you your flowers
Aw.
because we love you here. We really do.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys. I love you guys too. It's you've given me more than I can even express. Way more. So thank you.
No.
Yeah. So what do you want to ask, Mark?
So mine was quite
Yeah, I'm
simple.
waiting.
Mine was like a really simple question. Okay, so back in obviously when you had your first toy made back in obviously when you premiered, and then did you like kind of like go, oh my god? And now considering now since like you've got multiple Lightning Collection figures, did you just kind of go, what was your kind of experience when actually seeing these toys?
Yeah, it's a really bizarre feeling to go in and you see like a million of you on a shelf, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a toy. That's crazy. So when we first, when you first cast, they take every angle pictures of your face, like it was, move this way, move this way, move this way, look up, look down, like so that they can mold your face. Then I saw it and I went, well, that doesn't really look like me. That's Tommy with yellow hair and pasty white skin.
Oh my.
So Nakia and I died laughing at our toys because they were like the Hulk, these giant bodies with tiny little heads, and they didn't look anything like that.
Just like that.
Yeah.
So funny, but it's still very, very cool. And I have a real heart for the old toys. I think they were fun. But the Lightning figures have been really cool to see. I like when I saw my figure for the first time, I was so excited because I'm like, oh, it looks like me. And I actually think the recent ones, I have 4 out now. The most recent one, the Ninjetti, I was like, now they're really getting somewhere. That looks just like me from the show. So yeah, it's definitely the best one, and that was my favorite suit, the Ninjetti. Yeah, it's a really cool thing to have toys, and I mean, I get the coolest gifts from fans too. Things that, one guy I remember he took the Lightning figure and he put like made it like a battle action figure, like he created whole. It was really
Oh,
amazing.
sweet.
Just seeing what and the custom pops that Jalen makes, and just so many talented people that do all these really cool things and give us all these beautiful presents. So I have a big collection of fun things.
This is one of my
Hey,
faves.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely gonna put your head on this one. This is like one of my favorite ones.
yeah, that one's really cool. I love that one. Yeah, what have you got there? Oh, that's cool. Yes, I remember that one.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Very
so
cool.
sweet.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, did you ever know that there was a Zeo Barbie doll made of you?
Was it made? Because I've seen
I don't think it was made.
I don't know if it was made. I've seen the pictures of it,
Yeah.
but I don't
A
know if it ever
Zeo
got
Barbie?
released.
I'll show you
Zeo
guys
Barbie.
later. It was a weird thing because like they made previous ones of I think Trini and Kimberly, but they made like a Zeo set, but they put the pictures out there, but they never actually like made it. But I always thought that's a fun fact of like there's a Barbie. There was going to be a Barbie doll made of you.
Yeah, I know. That would have been fun. But yeah. I think they made one of. They did make one of Karen too, of Aisha.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And Nakia has Barbie dolls. She has Barbie dolls for Barbie's Life in the Dream House and Mermaid's Tale and stuff, but she doesn't have a Power Rangers Barbie doll.
You need to find them.
I know.
Hey, where? It was a last.
They are rare because my sister, she had the Amy Jo Johnson and Dewey Train pink and yellow Ranger Barbie. I remember those from back in the day.
Yeah. I know, crazy.
Yeah, I'm going on a quick Google search just to see if they still have them, and they don't. Because toys suck nowadays. But
We're looking at a Zeo movie.
Yeah, it would be nice to have a Zio movie. People, Zio didn't get as much love back in the day, although people love the theme song of Zio. But I think it's really become like I'm noticing a lot of people wanting Zio pictures, wanting Zio merchandise. Like it's made a little bit of a comeback, I think. Maybe because people are just sick of seeing everything's Mighty Morphin. They want something.
Dinosaurs, like it's
And
part of
dinosaurs,
love.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Zio is my all-time favorite season because I remember obviously seeing the command center blow up and Mighty Morphing, and then when they released the suits, I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" That I, as a kid, I wouldn't shut up about it, but it became one of my all-time favorite seasons because I think it's when you change the suits, because we'd had Mighty Morphing for such a long time. Zio was something completely different, and it was another kind of progression from, hey, we've seen that this cast do this, now let's see what they're facing now. But yet you're all still in high school still. And I was just like, you should have gone to college.
Yes. Yeah, I loved Zio too. I loved the storylines in Zio. I loved the suits. The only thing I didn't like was I wasn't crazy about the Machine Empire because I loved Rita and Zed so much that I felt the Machine Empire were a little flat.
There's
But
just no personality in comparison.
Yeah, in
Well,
comparison.
they're machines.
Yeah,
They shouldn't have
exactly.
personality.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But I did love the Gold Rangers introduction and all of that. That was really cool. So it had a lot of things that I loved about it, and I didn't have to share my suit with anybody.
Right.
Selfishly.
And you had your own sword.
I had my own sword this time. Yes. Yes.
I miss them days.
Yeah.
I just have to say this was a pleasure and a ball to have you on the show today. Yeah.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm so happy that we could figure out a time.
Yeah, I love that you're so transparent and open though about everything. Usually we have guests and they kind of like tiptoe the things, or they're like, we have all these disclosures before we go live, and you was like, ask me anything.
I pretty much know what I can and cannot say at this point. So I know what they've released. So yeah.
Hope we didn't wreck any NDAs today.
No, there was nothing. You're all good.
Sweet. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we can't wait to see you on the big screen, little screen. Is this going to theaters like a Netflix?
All the screens.
No,
depends
it's
on
on
the TV size you've got.
Netflix.
Good.
Netflix.
So we'll see you on the Netflix account in the coming months. 2
Yes.
months to be exact.
April 19th.
Yes.
19. Awesome.
Yes. I know my friends wanted to do a party and I said, "Oh hell no, I'm not watching it with anybody. I'll watch it by myself."
Oh no, you gotta have the watch party. You gotta have pink.
I hate watching myself. Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst. Oh.
So you hard on yourself as a critic, is what you're
Yes, I do. I do not like watching myself. I have to like psych myself into it. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all a bit like that though, right? You don't like, what you think you performance is very different from what you think you did, and then you have to look, and then you're like, oh my gosh, what was that? Oh, you're like micromanaging yourself on screen. So
for me, it's like audiences are gonna see it either way, so might as well bring some more people into it.
That's true.
Right. And get an honest opinion.
That's true.
Yeah.
The only time I can never watch myself back is if I do interviews with people, because I feel like I've asked the most cringiest questions. It'd be something like basic, like, so what was it like working on the show? Or what have you been doing? What's your best Street Fighter character? And then I listen back and go, oh God, they're gonna have a go at me.
Aw. No, the best thing you can do in an interview is just be honest and be real and just be relaxed. That's always the best interviews.
And that's the reason why I made the British word game.
It was a pleasure having you.
It was great.
Oh,
thank you so much.
Try to
Seriously.
line up something else once it airs, because I want to get into
spoiler
talk.
Yeah.
Definitely. Absolutely. We'll do a little critique.
This was honestly like one of the most the funnest episodes we've ever recorded, and that's really saying something. Thank you so much for just coming on with us today. It means a lot.
You're so welcome. My
Yeah.
pleasure. You guys are great.
You great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We
Thanks.
will catch you guys. That's how we exit.
Later.
Next week.
Later.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.